All right, back again on a Monday. We are live today to talk about projector, the projector energy in human design. And Jen is joining me, is an actual projector, which is amazing. So she's going to have some really fantastic insights into how you show up as your most authentic, beautiful, lovely self. So, the last couple of weeks we've been talking all about the different energy types in human design and really how to show up as your most authentic, bold, radiant self. And I know with projectors, as you and I have both coached a lot of projectors, but you being a projector, you really know this energy, what it means to embody it, and in particular, what it means to wait for the invitation. And I know that that's one thing that really a lot of projectors struggle with. Like, what does that mean? And so obviously, I don't want you to necessarily jump into that right now because we want to talk about the energy first, but we will touch base on that. So make sure that you listen all the way through, please, because that's a really important one. And Jenna had some great insights into this. But let's just dive in. Like, tell us a little bit about, what is the projector energy in human design and what makes you guys so special and unique compared to any other, human design energy.
Yeah, so much to say about the projector. We are the newest type. We've only been around for about 400 years, and why projectors came into the world, why the world needed projector energy was for guidance, for efficiency. Because in a generator society of do, all that sacral energy, just using it to use it, people were still burning out, right? Generator sacral beings can burn out. So the projectors came about to say, hey, there's a better way of doing things. Let's be efficient. Let's use our energy where we need it. Let's really build society and not just build to build. So that is why projectors came. But with that, projectors have been so conditioned to be generators, right? That we need to hustle, that we have to have something to show with our energy. But really, what we're here to do is find our mastery and just shine, right? We talk about projectors being the lighthouse, just shining your light, showing what you do, the magic that you bring to this world, so that other people can find you and say, oh my gosh, I need that. I'm going to invite them to share that with me, to work with me, all of those aspects. So projectors really have a unique way of seeing things in a different perspective and being able to guide people, especially in some energetic way.
Yes, I love that. And I will comment and say just like as being one of your great friends and business partners here, Jen is always somebody as a manifesting generator. Jen is someone as a projector who is constantly keeping me sort of on track, in tune with what I meant to be doing and guiding me through where I meant to be. And that's so special to have a projector in your life who can do that and see your potential and see where you want to go and kind of help direct you in the right way. And I have a projector son too, as we've talked about before. And so I do see in him too what he notices and how he like will make the funniest comments about how, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why are we doing it like that? At 10. And he's been doing that since he was a little kid, before I even knew he was a projector. And so I really love being surrounded by projectors because they sometimes see things that I am almost like blinded to, almost like I have my little like, side blinders on. And one of the things I like to refer to, I loved how you said the lighthouse, because I feel like sometimes, a projector does, it's almost like everyone else has their head in the weeds, right? We're
Yeah.
down there doing, and we're not looking up to sort of take stock of like, okay, am I on the right path? Have I left my path? Whatever, whatever. And the projector kind of is like, yeah, you totally left your path like 2 days ago and you should be, da 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 da, whatever, whatever. But that's what I love about having projectors in my life is just they see things in such a different way.
Yeah. Yeah, and being here for, our strategy of that recognition of that invitation, in a way where we're not that small of a percentage. Actually, we're the largest percentage of non-sacrals being 20 to 22%, but we long to be recognized and we all kind of have this deep wound of not being recognized that sometimes can cause us to have a lot of imposter syndrome, right? It's like, well, this is where I found my mastery, but maybe I don't know enough, or I don't have enough energy to do that, or people don't see me in doing that. So because they recognize me for doing this, I should do that. But like, No, no. You're really here to just show up, and where you're being recognized, that's kind of like an invitation. And with that, then the invitations will just start coming.
Yeah. Okay. And that's so interesting that you say that because I was sort of thinking as you were talking this with some of the women I've coached who are projectors, I've really noticed that they do almost hold themselves back in that way, that conditioning can really um they're like you said, they're just conditioned to not see their own value or not that they don't know enough or that they're unsure or they're not confident. And so what would you say to a projector who's sort of feeling that? And how would you help them sort of like find their right energy source in a way to really feel confident in what they're doing and what they're sharing and what they're creating?
Yeah. Thank you, all of you beautiful women in the comments. I'm just feeling so recognized over here. And it's
Yes.
just like I get to feel that success, right? We are destined for success. So, with your question, Mr. Raw, and such a wonderful question, this is why projectors have to decondition, right? This is why I am all about deconditioning, helping everyone decondition. Because as we get ready to shift into the new paradigm 2027, but also Pluto and Aquarius just in what, oh my gosh, 8 days. Um, Projectors are so needed to guide everyone in this new paradigm. So now is the time to let go of that generator conditioning, of that hustle. And why I love human design is because it gives us a blueprint to show you where your unique energy is, right? I was just talking with a client and we were looking about, she's a splenic projector, but she has a emotional manifestor husband who has three motor centers, the heart, the solar plexus, and the root. And then together they define the sacral. And she's like, I've been feeling all this bitterness. And it's like, yeah, for many years, like decades, you've been riding on his motor energy. He's got the energy, but you've been burning out because it's not yours. So we look at her chart and see, how do we utilize your energy to fulfill your purpose, to find your success? But really, you need to detach and decondition from his energy that you've just become enmeshed with. And it's so hard to discern and to pull apart. So, one, decondition. Two, get a chart reading, because projectors, we're so different, right? We have five different authorities. So there's really, I am going to choose not to use blanket statements for projectors because we are all so different. So that's why you really need to understand where your energy comes from.
Yeah, and I loved how you mentioned sort of the projector, married to a manifestor, or like I know you had a manifesting generator parent. And so we do get conditioned by this other energy that is flowing into our lives, whether we're a projector or a manifestor or Manny Gen, it doesn't matter. We all get conditioned by that. And so I think it's something really important, like what you were saying with this blueprint, is to understand where am I taking on energy that isn't mine? And how can I now release that so that I get to show up in my power and not in someone else's power, right? And that's the part of that is just like owning that.
Right. And to bring this into business, right? That's why I was trying to do other people's cookie cutter, right? They were a Manny Gen, they were a generator. They found their satisfaction and success in business. And I'm like, well, I want my success. So if I do that, it'll work for me. Well, let me tell you, story ruined here. It never worked. I had to create it myself. And I love, Bridget, how you recognize me as this powerhouse, the CEO. It's my defined heart, right? That's something that I have consistent access to. So to bring that out, but I still need to navigate my own success in business. Where does that come from? Where am I deconditioning and letting go of what I should do, or all those other things that have only brought me bitterness, falling into my not self theme, when I can live in my signature theme? We are just, again, destined for success. So, especially being a 3-5, like, no wonder why it's taken me 5 years to find this in my business. But, had I utilized human design a long time ago and known about it, I could have more gone along my unique path rather than trying to fit into everybody else's, thinking that my success could come from them.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all had that, whether you're a projector or not. As a mani-gen, I kind of have that same story where my power was coming from outside of me, from other people, putting other people on pedestals. And when we really understand who we are, it shifts the whole game and it gives us permission to really release those icky feelings or those forced strategies that really don't align with who we are. And I also love how Bridget said about the powerhouse, because I really see projectors as powerhouses, right? They're the only energy type who like can really be so successful and work a 4 hour day and take the rest of the day off. Like for me, I could never accomplish that, like
Right.
what I needed to in 4 hours, because I like to multitask and I go from here to there and I like to actually have breaks. I can't work for 4 hours straight as a manager. But projectors, you're so good at being able to just focus, strategize, go forth, and then take the rest of the day off to just sort of be in peace and rest, or break that 4 hours up into a morning and an afternoon shift as well, right? Like, and I think that's so, I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, and that's because we are efficient. That's where we get to see our efficiency in action because we only need to work 15, 20 hours a week to get everything done. I mean, I write these long lists. I mean, I have left facing arrows. So I write these long lists and then I just dive in and like beam, boom, boop, pop it out in like an hour. And I'm like, all right, I'm done. I get to go play because we're here to be light, fun, and playful. But with this is where I can make a blanket statement, with our undefined sacral, we don't know when enough is enough. So we're trying to just do, especially with that undefined heart. If you're trying to prove something, then it's like, I have to work 10 hours today. And that's part of my story. I was working 12 hours, priding myself on that when I was just burning out and it wasn't efficient. I thought that I was, going to find success through that, but I didn't know when enough is enough. And I absolutely and came to wean down to 4 hours a day so that I can go connect with nature and be light and, do all the things that I love.
Yeah, beautiful. And, I love here that Bridget said, I think that might be one of the best one-on-one coaches. And, a projector who is totally in their alignment and in their energy, I would say yes. A projector who is not might not be the best for that. But yes, a projector is a guide who can really sense and see where you're sort of like not shining your light bright, which is huge. And so, yeah, I would definitely agree with that when they're in alignment.
Yeah, and projectors, we are best one on one. Like I have a hard time when I'm in a group of people because I just want to focus on one person. I want to give them all of my energy. And it's because of our aura. We have actually the biggest aura. It can grow up to 12 feet and it just focuses and penetrates you. So projectors are often projected onto, right? Projectors, but it's because our aura sees deep into you. It allows us to like be in you energetically, and that's how we're able to see the things and then just have this inner knowing to guide you. But that's why we do work best one on one.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Now, moving away from the energy and talking more about like this waiting for the invitation, which I promised people we would talk about.
Yes.
And then obviously we'll mention the not self theme because that is so important. Um, Tell us a little bit about that, not sorry, the waiting for the invitation, because I think that some people could take that as like, well, I'll just sit back on the couch and wait for the invitation. So what does that actually mean and how do people leverage that?
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most discussed topics in projector world because a lot of people think, oh, I do nothing, I just wait. But remember that when you're not showing up as that lighthouse, when you're not engaging in life and doing what lights you up, those invitations can't come, right? Like if I locked myself in my bedroom and I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and wait, and was not showing up online, was not connecting with people, was not shining my light of what I do, no invitations are going to be able to penetrate me locked in my bedroom. So while it would be so beautiful if everyone had clear, direct, assertive communication and could say, hey, I invite you to do X, Y, and Z with me. It can all happen so beautifully. Those invitations do come, but often sometimes people will say, "Oh, this would be so fun to do, right? Would you want to do that?" Or, "Oh, maybe we could do this together," right? That's an invitation. So one of the first ways to decondition as a projector, to step into this strategy, right, that we're here to do and helps us find alignment, is to become aware of where invitations come from, right? I was just scrolling through my notifications on my phone. I was like, ooh, invitation. Ooh, invitation. Ooh, there's another invitation, right? Even when, and this is a business piece, when someone DMs you on social media, that's an invitation, even if it's a, hey, nice to meet you, right? They're inviting you into their world. But what can help clarify aligned invitations is to make sure that there is recognition. So again, using us, Mr. Right? I know that you recognize me, right? You say all these things, it fills me up. Success, women in planning by design, like I just feel so recognized by you all that it is so easy for me that when an invitation comes in, right? When Mr. You were like, should we create a monthly membership? I was like, yes, there's that invitation from someone who recognizes me. This is in alignment. I'm still going to ride my authority, but we both rode our emotional authority to know it was. And here comes success, right? Planning by design is becoming so successful. So as long as you know that there's recognition, sometimes that's a little easier to then say, okay, here's an invitation. And the other piece, remember that when an invitation comes, we get so excited because we're being invited, but you still have the choice of yes or no or not now, right? Sometimes when I began my experiment, I was like, oh, invitation, yes. And then I would be the next day on my emotional wave and be like, no, shoot, what did I do? So all these things to stay aware of.
Yeah. And then I want to ask a question, Jen, with this. How can you make invitations? So I know that like showing up
Mm,
online, creating polls in your stories or things like that that feel good for you. But how do you like create invitations
yeah.
besides just showing up? Is there anything you wanted to add to that? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Because just thinking back, I was in network marketing for a while and I would show up and I would give the invitation, right? I would be like, oh my gosh, it would be so great if you could plan a class. And they would just kind of give me a look and I would leave and I would be like, oh my God, like what is this feeling? Now I'm like, oh my gosh, that was bitterness because I gave the invitation. I'm not here to initiate new invitations. But when I show up, when I make sure, oh, are you interested in this? Then that can open the door. And really, again, it's just the lighthouse. You have to keep shining that light. So that is why, while my energy is consistent, I'm, yes, inconsistent as a non-sacral, I still check in. How am I showing up and letting people know what I do? Right? I'm
Yes.
here. I'm a human design expert. I'm a coach. I've been a therapist. This is me. These are the things that I do so that those people who recognize me, who see me and are like, ooh, there's something about her, right? I had one client who was like, I met you a couple years ago and I just keep thinking you were so cool and I just wanted to work with you. I was like, oh, that was me just shining. And then the invitation comes.
Yes.
So yeah, just keep shining in your way. And again, individualized readings, you can find this out. And in planning by design, when we look at those energetic cycles and honor them and set goals, that's why I love that we have a growing number of projectors coming into planning by design because
Yeah,
we
we do.
really need that guidance, right? How do we do this? And then to have a manifesting generator to see them too, it's a beautiful group of energy.
It is a beautiful group of energy. And I think that's one of the things that when you said before about talking about those energy cycles and honoring, your emotional wave, honoring the transits in human design, honoring our moon phases and our menstrual cycle has been so huge for the women in planning by design and understanding, how do we leverage our creative peaks and how do we even leverage our creative lows and how do we set ourselves up for success that allows us to be consistent the whole time in our business, which I know as a Gen, I struggle with that because I can be all over the place, right? And it's a beautiful thing to be able to figure out how to best utilize my energy. Same thing with projectors or other energy types, right? It's that same thing when we understand how we're designed to show up and then we can manage those energy cycles. It shifts so much for us in our business and our lives.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful to witness those goals being accomplished, right? When we have our
Yes.
accountability calls and people are finding alignment with that or deconditioning, or the next month when they get to look back and really celebrate, like, wow, I really aligned with my energy and got to be in my self signature theme. And reached all my goals. Like, it's
Yeah.
so amazing.
It's so amazing. And, for me as a manager, the accountability, and I know for the other managers in the group, the accountability is huge. And just like saying it out loud about the way that our energy shines, the way that we show up and how we manage that and the different cycles. When we say it out loud, we can then hold ourselves accountable, but then our teammates within this community that we've created do as well. And that's a beautiful piece.
It really is. There's just so much goodness. And especially tomorrow, we have a pop-up guest, right? Sometimes we bring in experts to show up in this space to benefit our clients in ways that, Mistral and I are not teaching. So tomorrow we have Bambi Thompson coming in, and Bambi works with quantum business to really just like in a beautiful way blow up your business, to really align it, to bring in your power. And she really focuses on money, right? That um, money vibration, financial vibration. So tomorrow she's coming into the group to do a money energy clearing and talk about this way of accessing consciousness so that we can tap into this and then clear out what's not serving us so that we all can make more money, because isn't that part of why we're in business?
Who doesn't love that, right?
Right.
Yeah. So please let us know if you'd like to join Planning by Design because, we have this growing group of pop-up or vault, I should say, a growing vault of pop-up guest speakers that is coming in. So you'll have access to these to listen to them again and again. And that's what's so perfect with this is that, we get these beautiful women coming in and talking to us about their knowledge, but
Mhm.
that's there forever. And you'll be able to watch replays and catch up on it again. And honestly, with money consciousness, I think that's been something that when I speak with coaches online, it's oftentimes some of their biggest blocks is being able to receive.
Yes.
And receiving money is what we need if we want to stay in business.
Yeah. Yeah. And how perfect with today being 11/11, this portal, and then
Yeah.
moving with the full moon, Aquarius, Pluto going in there. Like, it's just a wonderful time for all of this. So we
So
hope
true.
to see you in Planning by Design.
Yeah, link in bio or message us if you want to know more. We're happy to support you and get you through there. So we're going to sign off for now and we'll catch you next Monday. We're going to be talking about what are we on reflectors next week, I
Reflectors.
believe. So
Yeah.
join us if you are a reflector or you know someone who's a reflector or send it to a friend who would like to learn a little bit more. And we'll be talking about that next week.